Coming up, the Bulldogs go hunting for toothless tigers. International footy about to collide, and is Freddie Fittler about to pull off an Origin miracle? Yes, hello, and welcome back to the Sideline Chat podcast, the one-stop shop for rugby league, along with Mark Henry, having fully recovered from both the concussion and the Mad Monday celebrations he had with the Dragons on Monday. After that brilliant win over South Sydney, he is back. I'm Connor Marcellus, and now it is time to execute Order 66, or Episode 66, as it is our Origin 2 special with the representative weekend. Before we dive into the men's fixtures, we got to look at the women's, and with Game 1 of the Women's State of Origin series is between New South Wales and Queensland to go off at GIO Stadium in Canberra.
Well, literally, there's only one Women's State of Origin game. So the Queensland side at fullback, we've got Tamika Upton, with the winners being Emily Bass and Julia Robinson. Centres, Ivania Pelite, and Shanae Seagull.
Chasolka.
Thank you. The halves being Taryn Aiken and Ali Bregenshaw. The second row looking like Destiny Brill, Talisha Harden, Tasman Gray, with up front being Chelsea
Lanaduzzi.
Thank you. Britton and Brayley Nati and Shannon Matto. With the interchange, Lauren Brown, Jessica Elliston, Steph Hancock, and Tiana Raffstrand Smith.
Yes, that sounds like a very intimidating lineup with some of the Broncos greats in there. Now, for the Sky Blue, it was Emma Tonagato, the defending player of the year at fullback, with Yasmin Clydesdale and Tiana Penatani out on the flank. Thanks in the centres, it is the Roosters Premiership combination of Jess Surgis and Isabel Kelly, with Kira Dibb and Rachel Pearson in the halves. In the forwards, it is Hannah Southwell, the Dragon skipper Kezzy Apps and Shaylee Bent, and up front, Samaya Talfa, Keely Davis, and Millie Boyle, the best front rower in the world. And off the bench, it is Quincy Dog, Sarah Togatuki, Caitlin Johnson, and Olivia Kernick for the Sky Blues right there.
Very interesting sign-ups indeed for both State of Origin teams, really.
I would say that is the case, yes. Yes, and after the expand and at NRLW, of course, was the Sky Blues, coached by Kylie Hilder. And as for Queensland, we don't necessarily have that off the bat, but we will strive to get at you do that at some point in time.
Yes, we will.
But we're a New South Welshman, so we probably won't.
Yeah, playing in the nation's capital, which is the first time ever.
And not only that, 2-game series. It's rather interesting to say to that point essentially, with the expanded NRLW, and if you remember from our discussions we had a couple of weeks ago about the NRLW expansion, I imagine for half of them it was only inevitable that State of Origin would be expanded. But why in the hell does it have to be 2 games? I mean, seriously. You play 1 game and you win, but what happens if you have the draw? I mean, protocol dictates that it will probably end up that whoever won the series last year, which of course would only be that 1 game, you would hold the shield. Honestly, that's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. Just 2 games, and whoever won last year, they just get the series back in their favour. I mean, I'm saying it's bullshit because it'd be Queensland again, and look, most people would be accusing me if this was New South Wales as well. And to be fair, I'd still be finding it bullshit that the only way you could win State of Origin in a 2-game series is if you've had a win and a draw and you were last year's title holder. Just no way in hell. But if I had to say where this battle between the Sky Blues and the Maroons would be won, the forward packs are very interesting. Ultimately, Destiny Brill and Tasman Gray were amongst the bright sparks for the Gold Coast Titans and others in the 2021 NRL NRLW season up against Millie Boyle, who is probably the most dominant front rower going around in the women's game at the moment.
Yeah, she definitely is. She's unstoppable, Millie Ball. She's been around NRLW since the inaugural season.
Very close to it.
Very close to it, yeah. And she's a force to be reckoned with.
But look, I can't underestimate Queensland right here, especially Ali Brigginshaw. Even with the women's, Queensland still gives nightmares, or inspires fear when it comes to state of origin.
It certainly does. Like looking at the scores on paper, it's very hard to come up with they're very evenly matched. But Queensland do look like they've got that slight more power than what.
Do I have to try you for treason at this point?
No, I'm not going to go against New South Wales, obviously, but yeah, it's
because I got a select committee somewhere that would really like to hear these comments you're making that are borderline seditionists.
Nah, women's state of origin always turns it on, and eventually, with the expansion of NRLW, there's going to be 3 games for women's state of origin in a not too distant future. I reckon so.
I generally think it will be inevitability that it will go just 3-game series. But if it, I didn't talk about this last week, but we've talked off air about this before. Responsible expansion is what we should be arguing for. Now, some will argue that this was completely reckless. But if they can provide us with the business case for expansion, not just the NRLW, but the 3-game series for State of Origin as well, I'd probably have no problem with it. But back to the game, because that's a topic for another day.
Yes, it is.
Forward pack, I definitely think the case. I wouldn't be surprised if Brigginshaw were to move to lock, on game day, as she has done in the past.
She has done it in the past, but I don't know if that will happen in this game. She could, if she does move to in the forward pack, she'll be like an extra half down the field.
Yeah.
She's got a very good kicking game as well, so that will really help Queensland if she is still out there, regardless of where she plays.
But looking at the sides on paper and knowing what they have provided to us in a sense of practicality, I'm going to lean with the Sky Blues to go take game 1 narrowly, 1-6. I think if Boyle, Apps, and Southwell can lay a solid platform, Tonegado, Penatani, Surgis, Kelly, that's all you really need to stay out of it.
Yeah, exactly right there. The outside, and you had to throw in Tonegado, who's had a brilliant season the last NRLW season, as well as Isabel Kelly and the likes. Being at a neutral ground again, I'm going to say New South Wales to win this one by 8 points. This one is always tend to be close, but 8 points, I believe New South Wales will win.
Yeah, this is going to be a very close contest as between the two sides right here. Now, from women's to men's internationals, we have Lebanon against Malta in the Elias Fenwick Cup at Belmore Sports Ground, and we do have the two sides. It's named but not finalised up to this point because RFL convention dictates you name a squad but not on how they're properly organised for it. So we will have a look at the Lebanon squad we've got here. Bilal Marabani and Adam Ritzk, Alan Lockwood, Danny Gantos, Daniel Aru, Donovan Boney, Ikhalil Ilram, Kane Kalash, there's a name that's popped up before, Eli El Zakhem, Jabriel Kala, Ashhana El Naka. These are all first time enunciations for most of these, so apologies if I haven't exactly named them correctly. Reese Robinson, Christian Yasmin, Jacob Karam, Josh Ritzk, Travis Robinson, Nick Cassis, Josh Marie, and Michael Tanus, and they are coached by Michael Checker, the former Wallabies coach on the dark side of rugby.
Yeah, he certainly is. Now, same scenario, apologies for the pronunciations, although Connor will probably have them more accurately said than what I do because I very much struggle, especially with the Toulouse side in the Super League. Anyway, so for Malta, we've got Jared Summert, Zaran Galea, Nathan Benson, Jed Hardy, Joel Bradford, John O'Dallas, Hayden Pace, Jake Zamet, Tyler Castle, Nathan Falson, Josh Vella, Aaron Gretsch, Tallis Duncan, Kyle Green, Adam Campbell, Anthony Buka, Kyle Castle, Zachary Vella, Connor McDermott, and that's it.
And their coach, Andrew McDonald. Well, this is the first time Lebanon have played in 3 years. Of course, Malta have been in and around emerging nations cups with the involvement of both Shane Flanagan and Paul Gallen in the past.
Yes, very much so.
So, and it's an interesting story. Michael Checker will not be at Belmore tonight for this game. He is in fact stuck in Argentina because of cancelled flights.
It's not good when you're going to coach your first ever game. So, but he's still going to be coaching, but probably from afar.
Well, it'll have to be from afar. He'll be still in Buenos Aires doing this. Now, interesting story. Jared Samet from the Barrow Raiders. I believe I read somewhere it cost him £11,000 or so to fly out here, off his own purses, mind you, to come and play for Malta in this game.
Yeah,
if that's not dedication to International Rugby League, I don't know what is.
That is very much dedication right there. But coming out of his own pocket, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but if he's keen to do it, he'll do it, and he certainly did.
Well, he's amongst all those names, he's the most experienced option Malta have got, and a versatile dummy half, I think that they'll enjoy that. As for Lebanon, there are a couple of names from the past I think I recognise. Of course, both the Robinsons and are here as well. Kane Kalashi's been around for some time in the system.
Most of them are generally juniors from NRL clubs.
Yes, all around the rugby league scene, from as high as the NRL all the way down to your grade 9s, your country rugby league sort of scenes.
Yeah. I mean, some of these teams sound familiar, but don't exactly put name to face. But anyway, we'll soon find out, see how they go on the biggest stage of all.
But there are some names from this Lebanon side I am surprised that haven't been named. One that comes to mind would be Jacob Carraz from Canterbury. I am very much surprised he wasn't named in this Lebanon side.
We'll touch on this later, but how good of a game did he have against the West Tigers?
Oh, it was unbelievable.
And also Josh Mansell. Is he eligible for the Lebanon side?
Yeah, the source. He's eligible. He's not there at the moment.
Which is a big name.
Mitchell Moses, there's another one for you.
Yes, true.
And I think that's about it. But you can check out he can play for, on Twitter, who does all the international eligibility criteria and who's eligible from every single major football comp going round. So you can find him on Twitter. He can play for you. Also up on Facebook and on Instagram.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a plug right there. Pointing out who's eligible for who. This is going to be interesting. Final call for this one.
I'd like to see Malta win this one as an underdog, because I'm guessing that Malta will be the underdogs heading into this match against Lebanon. Lebanon have been around for a while. We know what they are capable of.
What they have shown to be capable of, but they've had some internal troubles with the board, and they've, of course, would you say still reeling after the Beirut explosion last year?
I don't know. Possibly, but hopefully they put that behind them and they can just, come out. They could even come out and, if they win smash, it'll be a very, very nice victory for them overall. But I'm going to say Malta to win this one by 6 points.
Yeah, and you're sort of thinking this Samet could be the big tilt factor to all this. I'm going to go the other way. I think, even though Michael Checker's going at this from afar, I think there are some individuals in this Lebanon setup that'll guide around the park. I think Reece Robinson will play a huge role in this, whether he's on the flank or at fullback in this instance. And I think Lebanon come home 1-6.
So both reckon it's going to be a close game. I'm really looking forward to this match.
Yeah, I reckon this is going to be a very close game.
give me something to do tonight.
Now, moving on, we have got the Kiwis up against Mateama Tonga in the first game of the Pacific triple header from Mount Smart Stadium, Auckland. Well, this is going to be a sellout game
I was
first
just
up.
going to say, footy is back in New Zealand for the first time in, 3 years? Like
Close
you
to
said,
it.
hands down, sold out stadium. It'll be packed.
There's going to be seas of black and red coming out.
I reckon obviously New Zealand's going to be the biggest vocal people there. But the last time Tonga played, I think it was in New Zealand against New Zealand. I think it might have been the World Cup.
2019,
But
they
the
managed
amount
to
of-
beat the Kiwis, Great Britain, and Australia, or they've knocked off. They knocked off in 2019 alone
But-
Great Britain and Australia in a single year.
But that Tonga were really vocal, and there was a sea of red.
I love that sea of red.
I'm really looking forward to this match indeed.
All right, well, you can take away with the Mateama Tonga side.
Give me a second. I just need to find it. Hang on. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. I will.
Sitting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Probably wait for the first drink of the afternoon. Not really.
I don't think. Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm a bit unprepared by this.
The
one.
World Cup is going to come around faster than your organisation at this, for this small-time production where it is 2 blokes, 1 laptop, 1 microphone. This is probably going to go way out of context.
I've
at
only
this
got
moment.
I haven't got the actual list in front of
Oh,
me.
Jesus.
I've got the news, but not.
See, this is why he suffers the concussion on a regular basis.
Do you want to do New Zealand first, or I find the list somewhere?
I got them up, and I'll give you the Kiwis lineup.
Thank you.
Considering you had to do your incompetence that way. All right, so I'll take charge of Mateama Tonga then. Tolo Kula will be lining up at fullback. Daniel Tupou and Sione Katoas are the wingers. The centres, COC for Talakai and Moses Suli, although that will more than likely be changed to Will Penasini, given Talakai's inclusion in State of Origin. In the halves, it will be Katoni Staggs and Talatau Amone. In the forwards, it is the co-captain Jason Taumalolo, with Satili Tupanua and Keon Kolona Matangi in the second row. And up front, the other co-captain, Siosiwa Tauki Aho, Saliva Havili and Adam Fanua Blake. And off the bench, Sony Luke, Hamole Olakawatu, Tabita Pangai Jr. and Tabita Totola. And they are coached by the caretaker of Tonga in Dean Young, with Christian Wolf committed to St. Helens.
Okay. New Zealand side. I'll get this right in the first go. Fullback, we've got Joey Manu, with the winners being Ronaldo Mulatala and Jordan Rapana. Centers, Marata Niokore and Peter Hickey. Halves of Dylan Brennan and Jerome Hughes. For second row, we've got Kenny Bromwich with James Fisher Harris and Isaiah Papali'i. Up front, we've got Jesse Bromwich, who's the captain, Brendan Smith and James Fisher Harris. On the bench, Kieran Foro, Moses Leota, Nelson Sofa Solomona, and Britton Nakora.
And coached by
Michael
Maguire.
Who, I'm just going to throw this out there, everyone. I reckon he could be the next Warriors coach. If he coaches the international side, it would make sense for him to coach the NRL side. Just throwing it out there.
So you think, and I was actually listening to League and the Freak podcast. There you go. There's a second plug of the day. I'm throwing League and the Freak podcast.
And another podcast.
Or is it Fergo and the Freak? Oh, yeah, Fergo and the Freak podcast. I think I throw Owen in there. I was listening to them just in the aftermath of both Brownie and Madge getting sacked. And it sort of made the point, it could backfire, but it's just sort of like that. They did mention that incentive about having the Kiwis coach also be the coach of the Warriors.
It does make sense, though.
But interesting point they made. Losing the Holden under-20s and his comp hurt the Warriors more than the other under-15 clubs. The under-20s clubs, the other 15 under-20s clubs.
Really?
Yeah, I think they made the point that there was that pathway for the Warriors of under-20s that there was the signs of you could play in the NRL through the under-20 system, that there was these professional setups. And when they went, that's sort of when the juniors just went to the dark side. They joined the dark side of rugby.
Yeah, right.
Whether or not there is an appetite to bring the under-20s back, I think that's a question for another day. Now, New Zealand versus Tonga.
This is going to be, I reckon, the clash of representatives.
This is the international arena's equivalent for State of Origin right here. You could literally have a 3-game series between New Zealand and Tonga right here.
Oh, easy. But it's going to be absolute belter of a game, especially at a packed-out Mount Smart Stadium.
Oh, it's going to be packed out. No questions about it.
You'll be able to hear the crowd more than what you can hear the commentators, I reckon. That's how loud they're going to be.
Yeah, so good luck trying to listen to the commentary.
You might have to self-commentate.
Yeah. Bit of a bold call from Maguire to go with Manu at fullback.
He has done a little bit of fullback before, though.
Yeah, at club level, but the international arena's a different beast.
He'll be fine. I believe he'll be fine.
It's good to see Kieran Foran retained as the utility for the Kiwis after the horror. I think, was it the second test where he unfortunately did his shoulder again 3 years ago against Great Britain?
I think so.
I honestly hope Foran can put the horrors behind him. And Jerome Hughes. What about Jerome Hughes? This rapid rise to an international standard test halfback. From unwanted fullback at North Queensland and on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, and he started at Melbourne at full
Yeah.
but now he's one of the best
Halfbacks in the game.
Yeah.
And not going anywhere anytime soon, believe me.
No. And partnering on Dylan Brown, I believe that they get the training that right. They could form a bloody dangerous combination there. How I see it, I'm going to see as Jerome Hughes will do the control of the kicking.
And Dylan Brown, as the form 5'8" for the Premiership, will
do the running.
Yeah, no questions
That's
about
what
that.
I reckon is going to happen here.
Yeah. Well, a lot of emotion and a lot of energy right here. I genuinely don't know how this is going to be called.
I've got a coin
How to call
here.
this.
I've got a coin here if you want to
Oh, here
flip
we go. We're going to leave it up to chance right here.
Nah.
Watch this.
Nah, it's up to you.
The biggest problem with some of the Pacific Islanders, as much as we love seeing them play, lack of quality halves. I mean, we're looking at Amone and Staggs in the halves for Tonga, whereas the Kiwis have got the luxury of Hughes and Brown.
Who are more experienced, yeah.
Well, not just more experienced, but are of a higher caliber of half.
Yeah. I mean, Amone, he's been having a fairly reasonable season for the Dragons. Although Staggs in the halves, he hasn't played halves much.
No.
So that's got to be a bit of an interesting factor there.
But it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But I think the class of halves will definitely show once again. Because we know Tonga's going to bring the heat in the forward battle.
Oh, easy.
I
know who I'm going for.
I think there is going to be more emotion and motivation for New Zealand for this game than there is for Tonga. As much as I hate to say it, I think the Kiwis, off the back of raw emotion for the first time being home in 3 years, I'm going to give them a win 7-12.
There is golden point in international matches?
No.
There's none.
No.
Okay. I'm going to say this. It's probably not going to happen. I'm going to say a draw.
You're calling for a draw?
I'm calling an 18-all draw.
All right.
I don't do it often, but yeah. I mean, my second, besides Australia, my second kind of international side's Tonga.
Right, now, moving on to the Pacific Test doubleheader from Campbelltown Sports Stadium, where it has been in the past. We now have Toa Samoa and the Cook Islands.
I've actually got a team list for this one. So, with the Cook Islands, at fullback, we've got Kale Iro, with the winners being Stephen Masters and Stephen Masters and Malachi Morgan. And centers being Anthony Gelling, and Ruben Rennie. The halves of Esson Masters and Reece Joyce. The second rows being Tinny Arona.
Tinarau.
Thank you, Tinarau Arona. Brendan Pyatt,
Piakura.
thank you. And Pride Peterson Robati, with up front being Vincent Rennie, Aaron Terrori, and Xavier Willison. Coming off the bench, Brody Tamara, Moses, Nouveau Makahisi
Makatoa.
Makatoa, sorry.
You listen to his name in the NRL enough. That's
I haven't heard his name for a while, okay? And Davey Moao, coached by
Tony Iro.
Thank you.
As for Toa Samoa, somehow Matt Parrish has been retained as the coach, despite that bid from the Johns brothers. But nevertheless, this is the side he is named to take on the Cook Islands. Charlie Staines at fullback with Taylor May and David Orfaluma on the flanks. In the centres, it is Isaac Tago and Jackson Paulo. In the halves, it is Chanel Harris-Tabita and Anthony Milford at halfback. In the forwards, Josh Alloyer locks down the scrum with Josh Schuster and Jaden Sewer in the second row. Up front, Marty Tapau, Jazz Tabunga and Francis Molo. And off the bench, New Brown, Keenan Palacia, Spencer Lenu, and Big Bunty Afoa.
So, in other words, an all NRL side.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Anthony Gelling's been on the outer of rugby league for the last couple of months. Of course, he bounced from Wigan to the Warriors, from New Zealand back to Warrington. Then he had some domestic issues, ended up at Lee, bounced out of Lee, and now he's ended up here with another test call up for the Cook Islands.
Yeah, it's a bit of a journeyman, Gelling, but good to see him back.
Isan Masters named at 5'8". That's got to be the best joke I've ever heard.
I reckon.
Once one of the brightest prospects at centres. He played for the Kiwis as well.
Yes.
And how far he has fallen since his early years at the West Tigers.
Yeah. But then even going up to Gold Coast hasn't really helped his cause either.
No, it had.
But I take it he's playing alongside his brother Stephen. I'm guessing they're brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
As for Samoa, they've had the luxury of naming half the Penrith Panthers.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Staines, May.
Tago.
Staines, May, Tago, Lenu. And it's just unbelievable.
Not as much as another side we're going to touch on later.
Yeah. Look, I think the Cook Islands earned their place in the World Cup after knocking South Africa 66-6 from memory, or 60 points to 6.
It was an absolute thrashing.
It's in a qualifier. The South Africans never really had a shot.
No.
But this Samoa side, if they can get this right, and maybe they'll get Jerome Luai, they'll get a couple of other... I might get Stephen Crichton as well, for their World Cup push, but that's a pretty strong Samoa lineup right there.
It definitely is, and it's with plenty of NRL experience across the park. They will be definitely the strongest side there. Nothing against the Cook Islands, but looking at the teams on paper, it's definitely going to be a Samoa victory.
The power of May and Norfoluma, though, will get Samoa onto the front foot. Then you throw Schuster's playmaking abilities in attacking setups. This is setting up for a big Samoa victory. I got to call this 13+ for Toa Samoa.
Yeah. Well, with May and Tago playing alongside I presume they'll be playing alongside of each other like they do in Clubland with Panthers. They've just been unstoppable out wide. Throwing Charlie Staines that they have played with also. I'm going to say Samoa to win this one by 20 points.
And finally, of the international scene, we've got Papua New Guinea versus the Fiji Bati. The Bate, a lineup like this. Sunea Aruva at fullback with Michaeli Ravawala and Micah Sivo on the wings. Talk about that. You play 2 games in the NRL and you already earn a recall for Fiji straight up. But I suppose when your name's Micah Sivo, that just sort of happens.
Yeah, exactly.
The centres are Semi Bellamy and Waka Blake. The captain at 5'8" is, of course, Kevin Nagama, with Nautua Masima at half-back. In the forwards, we have Tane Milne at lock with Viliami Kikau and Taniela Sadrugu in the second row. Up front, we've got Joe Ursus, Atuva Akakeravalu, Pio Oni Agatuamua, and Tui Kamaka Meifa. That's probably the easiest of the front rowers I've had to name right there. And off the bench, Isaac Lumi, Pia Oseki, Lamar Manuel Ovave, and Kalen Miller.
As for Papua New Guinea, we've got Alex Johnson at fullback with Robert Derby and Terry Wappy on the wings with David Mead and Justin Olam in the centres. Cole Labour and Lachlan Lamb are the halves. In the in the second row, we've got Jacob Alec with Dan Russell and Nixon Putt, with the forwards being Apple Kapinias, Watovu Puara, and Sylvester Namo, with the bench being Liam Horn, Emmanuel Wayne, Mackenzie Yee, and Dilbert Isaac.
The strength of Papua New Guinea is they treat rugby league like a religion. And that's exactly the place I'd sort of love to be. A place that treats a sport like God.
Yes. I'm surprised that there's one name not in this side.
Who is that?
Ezra Mann.
You know what? That is actually rather surprising. I would have thought, because I'm pretty sure he is eligible for Papua New Guinea.
He is.
I am surprised he hasn't been released by the Broncos for this game.
I think he was born in Papua New Guinea.
Well, he's definitely going to be included at the World Cup then.
Oh, he's got the Papua New Guinea background, because I believe when he made his debut for Brisbane Broncos, I think it was Matthew Thompson, Channel 9 commentator, said Papua New Guinea be going off or whatever. So
I am very surprised Brisbane didn't consider releasing
I could be Rondo, but yeah. Well, yeah, very surprised.
Very surprising indeed.
And he probably would have been alongside probably Lockie Lamb in the halves. Nothing against Kyle Labour, though.
Yeah, exactly the point. Oh, this is just going to be... On one hand, you've got Justin Olam, a man of granite, that is just like, he doesn't understand sidesteps.
No.
But then you got the Fijian equivalent, which is, we just run over the top of you, and we score in the corner if your name's Micah Sevo.
I was just going to say, the back two winners for Fiji are machines, especially...
Well, Ravawala's suspect with the hands, we all know that. But Sevo's the real deal.
Yeah. And then you got, on the other hand, David Mead, who can score some magnificent tries alongside, Olam, and Johnson is in try-scoring form at the moment, so... But yeah, Fiji...
It's forwards and backs that Fiji have. Like Tonga, that's where they have the most luck, because you got Blake, Valame, Sevo, Ravawala as a worrying centre wing pairing. And then you got forwards like Kamakamefa, Kickout, and Milne playing lock.
Which usually plays in the centres.
Exactly. So that's enough to scare anyone. If it has to come down to goal kicking, Papua New Guinea's in a bit of trouble. Considering that Reece Martin has not been released to come out to play for Papua New Guinea...
Which is a surprise.
Well, not really. I think it would have been understandable that half of all the players for Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, Papua New Guinea, they wouldn't have come out if they were playing in Super League, especially considering travel cost. I was trying to ferry them out here. And like we said with Salmon and for Malta, out of their own pockets if they wanted to come, but
yeah. I
suppose club orders said otherwise.
I'm going to say a goal kicker for Papua New Guinea would probably be Lockie Lamb. Or Kyle Labour. They're the only realistic two I think there are.
Or that we're aware of.
Oh, yeah, that too. But as for Fiji, the goal kicker, I don't know.
Well, I suppose it's a lucky draw. A lucky dip. We're going to find out.
I don't know if Kevin Nagama can or not. Don't know.
Final call, I'm going to have to go with Fiji 1-6 here. I think that strength at the boards and Sevo is enough to intimidate alone.
Yeah, have to agree there. Fiji to win this one by 16.
And finally, we have got the Blues and the Maroons in Game 2 of the Ampol State of Origin Series going west in Game 2 of the 2022 series.
For the second time it's been played in Perth.
Yep.
For the Queensland side, we've got Kalen Ponner again. Sorry.
Only the Game 1 sides we named. Only the changes from there.
Sorry, that's out of habit. Well, the changes for Queensland, I don't believe there's that many. You've got Reuben Cotter is out, so it's the same with Xavier Coates. So Murray Tulagi comes in to make his debut, as well as Jai Arrow is back into the side. Give me a sec. Yes, Connor's gone to sleep here.
What is it? Is it England versus Samoa already?
Flaglark and Oates have been added to the squad with both Former and Reece Walsh, and I don't believe there's that other than that. I don't think there's
Apart
that
from
many
Lindsay
changes.
Collins now starting,
Yes, that too.
and Tino moved to lock forward.
Yes, that too. But other than that, not really that many personnel changes.
Meantime, for the Blues, with no Jack White, Matt Burton will be named to start in the centres for the first time in his very short career. Stephen Crichton also named to start in the centres, with Katoni Staggs being released to join Tonga. Api Coruscant and Jake Trebojevic helped Payne Haas form a new front row pairing. Cam Murray elevated to start, with Junior Paolo, Damien Cook pushed back to the bench, with Angus Crichton and Siosifa Talakai, the freshmen, on the bench for Brad Fittler.
Well, what I'm surprised about is Coruscant starting over Cook.
It's all the Penrith connections. It's always the Penrith connections.
Well,
Just
let me
like,
go through this New South Wales side. You got Toto, Crichton, Luai, Cleary, Coruscant, Martin, and Yo. 7 Panthers players.
8, if you count Burton, considering he's an ex-Panther.
But he's not the current Penrith Panthers
But
player.
I would accept Matt Burton correctly as the only member of the Canterbury Bulldogs present in the New South Wales State of Origin
For
side.
the first time since, probably Trent Hopkinson played for the Blues when he was at the Dogs?
No, David Clemmer, 2018.
Well, there you go. But it's been a long time since a Dogs player has been in New South Wales.
And we would have had Josh Adokar as well
Yeah.
if Freddie had listened.
Yeah, having 2 cracking games and he got overlooked again.
Unbelievable. Now everyone's panicking. It's like, oh, Freddie's made 7 changes. He did it once before in 2019. He won, and then he won the series.
Hang on, did he make like 5 changes in one game and 3 the next, or whatever it was, to have 7 within 2 games and we won the series?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, but the media, it's just listening to the media, it's just like, Freddie should make changes. Freddie should make changes. Then it's like, Freddie makes changes. It's just like, media. You weren't supposed to do that. You weren't supposed to make changes to the New South Wales. You weren't supposed to change the New South Wales side. I don't know why you had to do that. I don't understand what Freddie Fittler's thinking. Maybe because you said he should make changes
Yeah.
to the side that lost game 1, that he did. He's like, oh, he's made too many. You can't win.
No, but that's why you never listen to media sometimes.
There are some good points the media makes, and of course they have owned the players.
True.
Now, interesting dynamic. Coruscant Cook, designed to counter Hunt and Grant.
Yes.
That's sort of where Queensland were able to do it. Plus the harassing of Nathan Cleary with their defence. That's what got Queensland over the line and unsettled the rhythm.
I was just trying to find something here, but I can't find it. There's something about Freddie Fittler and his his record rate as a player and coach in Game 2 of Origin. I think he's won more than what he's lost as a player and as a coach in Game 2 of Origin. So that's a pretty good record to have. And we all know what happened to Queensland last time they played over in
Yes,
Perth.
Tom Trbojevic had an absolute blast.
He did, in what was a wet game as well.
Like, I think the weather forecast at the moment is shaping up for a dry track for Perth, is it not?
I'm not 100% sure. I think it is, so it should be good there.
Oh, but I tell you what, Matt Burton's boots. He's going to
He's
throw
an
up
extra.
some bombs. So I would say to Ponga, Cobo, and Talangi, good luck.
Well, yeah, and he's played with a lot with. He's played with the 7 Panthers players before, so he knows exactly what they like. So, if Adokar was playing and Burton was in the halves, that would have been a good combination because they're coming on quite nicely Bulldogs land. So, no, but Burton being an extra half out in the field will definitely help New South Wales. I hope so.
It'll be interesting because I think they're changing up how they use Junior Paolo. Oh, I mean, they got him off the bench again, and they got Jake Trebojevic that's just going to be a tackle machine for half the time.
Good to see he's back in though.
Should have been left out in the first place.
No. But
At the risk of sounding biased, we've addressed one area already. We found a counter for Harry Grant.
yes.
which is we put Coruscant in the start, and Damien Cook's the one that comes off the bench.
Yes. I mean, I would have been happy either way, but I'm surprised that Coruscant is starting though.
Now, if they can learn the lessons and maybe push the envelope with pressuring Cherry Evans and Munster, because Ash Klein was retained as the Origin referee.
I was just about to say that. The biased person he is in Game 1 has been retained, which I think there's plenty of other referees out there that have done a better job than what he has done. Namely, I think Grant Atkins or Adam G have been one of the two best this year.
So the outcomes of this are either 1, Queensland wins 2-0 going into Brisbane and is on the verge of a clean sweep for the first time since 2009, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Or the Blues win emphatically, force a series decider in Suncorp Stadium, and then pray to defy 28 years of Origin convention of deciders at Suncorp Stadium.
Put it this way, I reckon they're going to make it go down to Game 3.
It should go down to Game 3.
Well, if I'm going to say if Ashley Klein helped, which is the man of the match for Queensland, helped them win Game 1, he'll probably help New South Wales in Game 2, make it go into the side at Game 3. There you go. I'm calling it now.
Well, I think Freddie's going to take the lessons, and I think that all the changes he's made, they're all going to come off. Like the changes he made the last time round. You know, he dumped Mitchell, he brought in Tom Trebojevic, he brought James Maloney back into the fold. He had, I think he had Wade Graham, Del Finucane all come in.
Yeah.
And they did a brilliant job.
They certainly did, and it paid off there.
So, yeah, I'm back in history, lightning the strike twice. I'm going the Blues narrowly 1-6 with if they can win the physical battle this time round, I think the Blues, especially it with Jake Trebojevic, just designed to tackle.
Being biased, because no one likes Queensland, I'm going to say New South Wales in this one, 6 points.
Yeah, so it's another narrow attempt at the Blues to get up, but hopefully this time it pans out the way we hope it does. Now, Clubland, round 15, St. George Illawarra Dragons downing the South Sydney Rabbitohs 32 points to 12.
I honestly did not see this one coming. I thought we were going to get absolutely thrashed by South Sydney like we did against the Cowboys the week prior.
Well, to be honest, I don't think anyone saw that one coming.
But 6 tries in under half an hour.
That is insane. All started with Zach Lomax, and it just kept going from there.
Well, really, it started with the knock off on the kickoff for South Sydney.
Oh, that was
that
bad. That was bad, if anything.
But yeah, an absolute brilliant game from Dragons. Yes, they were scoreless in the second half. But South absolutely
But the way the Dragons scored half of those tries, I mean, you had Zach Lomax terrorizing the left-hand side of South Sydney defensively.
And he got criticised after the Cowboys game, and he's come back and bounced back really well.
He did just that. But then, Cody Ramsey's try, how embarrassing was that try?
That was, as I think Full Gould said, a soft try there.
It was soft. It was soft as anything. I could have gone through that hole. You would have gone through that hole. Oh, you had 2 players...
And the 6th player could have gone through that hole.
How embarrassing it must have been to be a South Sydney defender in that instance.
Very much embarrassing indeed.
And then Jason Demetriou hit the panic button and brought Lachlan Ilias off.
Yeah.
You hooked the halfback.
Yep. I've done that before, but not in real life.
Yeah, you don't profess to be a first-grade coach. You just profess to be a rugby league I4 expert until you play me. Yeah. And then we see how it really turns out.
I think I've even hooked a fullback before anyway. But yeah, that was a surprise move there, but Dragons will be very happy with that win. And I said they probably need to work on their defense heading into this match. Well, I think they definitely did do that. Only letting 2 tries in, which I'm not happy about. But
the problem was you fell asleep in the second half after that. You had that brilliant start, but you didn't carry it on in the second half.
No, it was scoreless in the second half. It was 12-0 in favour of South in the second half.
But yeah, much like I don't know what to even say about that. It's like I can't speak.
And they're in the top 8.
Only just.
Woo!
But an unbelievable result for St. George Illawarra. Or right there, and it's just like, where has this been?
Oh, yeah. We've been sniffing around there and thereabouts mid-table, but yeah, it's very good. I'm very happy with that result. As for South, they'll need to definitely...
Intent and energy will be the big things the Bunnies need moving forward.
Yeah.
The Dragons, consistency, just based on those performances alone. But Zach Lomax, he was a standout player. 56 run meters, 2 try assists, 3 tackle breaks, an offload, and 4 from 6 goals converted. Now, moving on to the Friday games, the Cowboys with a come-from-behind victory downing the Manly Sea Eagles 28-26. The Cowboys really left this one late.
They did. It was 14 points down with 7.5 minutes to go. And they somehow won.
Unbelievable finish. They were down, I think it was 14-6 at the break.
10-6.
10-6 in a tight first half. And Manly at Brookie is not always the best place to be.
No.
But Valentine Holmes provided the spark, and he finished that off as well.
He certainly did. And Cowboys went back-to-back tries very quickly.
But
72nd minute, 73rd minute, then the 75th minute.
Off Manly mistakes. Mistakes cost Manly in this one.
They had it in the bag, but... Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to say was to stand up for this game? Take a wild guess who I'm about to say here.
I'm going to either guess Townsend, Holmes, or Nanai.
I will go with door number 3. It was, once again, Jeremiah Nanai. Another try off a kick. How many try? And then he gets a try assist off a kick. 1 try assist, 93 run meters, 1 tackle break, 3 offloads.
He's just unstoppable.
He's a freak.
No wonder he's in the Queensland side again.
He's a dead set. He's an absolute freak. He's just like David Fafita, eat your heart out. I can score tries, I can set up tries, I can keep the ball alive.
Exactly, and he did a magnificent job yet again.
Just that crazy comeback. I just be like
Todd Payton. One of the greatest comebacks of all time, I think.
Oh, definitely one of the greatest grandstand finishes you'll ever see.
After the full-time siren went, just as the full-time siren, Manly got a penalty, they kicked out a touch. Gave Cherry Evans, who had a shot at 2-point field goal, just waved away. But if he got that,
golden point.
He had just had the length on it, but just to the side. So if he had that spot on, that would have been something else.
And there was a man in the sin bin as well. So the Cowboys were down
on the 79th minute.
Under 12, going in the possible golden point. Yeah, but the Cowboys, another brilliant result for them. I mean, they're smoky for the top 4 at the moment. They're amongst the smokies
now, yeah.
Speaking of the rest of the top 4, the Melbourne Storm, after a tight first 40 against the Brisbane Broncos, pulling away 32 points to 20.
The score's been locked up at 16 all at half.
What was that first half from the Broncos? Honestly, what was that first half from the Broncos?
Now I thought, well, hang on a second. This is unexpected result.
Once again, they went for Corey Oates, and it paid dividends. Twice. It's just beautiful targeting. In the kicking game from, I think it was Ezra Mam on that occasion. Oh, no, Tyrone Roberts.
Yeah.
That's right. Tyrone Roberts, for only the second game he's played all year. Just Lee, Oates, Capewell, put pressure on the Melbourne Storm on right side defensively. And then, of course, Selwyn Cobbo, another try. Just
Yeah.
another one.
Another one, yes. One, not two, but one. Corey Oates, I think his second try, how easy was that? Just straight through the line. Like, you never see Melbourne give away soft tries
Except
like that.
if it's down their right edge, because their right side is their weak side.
I think it was down their right side, but yeah. But still, like, far out.
But then the maestro we were talking about, waxing lyrical for the Kiwis, Jerome Hughes.
Who's going to be your probably standout
2
player?
tries,
Yeah.
1 try assist, 91 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, and a goal line dropout. That second try he scored, that was just individual brilliance to beat 4 to 5 Brisbane defenders in the second half.
That shows how good he is as a player and how Melbourne are as a team.
That was a good reward right there. The Storm up against the Broncos. I gotta say, the Broncos were confident or were courageous in that second half.
Yeah, but once Melbourne got in the groove, they were a bit hard to beat.
But they really stuck it to Melbourne on this occasion.
Yeah,
Previous times, we would expect the Broncos to have 40 put on them by now. Not this time.
No, and they've come up from near the bottom of the ladder to being in the top 4.
Well, they're down to 6 at the moment. But
top 8 then.
But that's through other circumstances of their own. But what an absolute hoot. 3 years ago, the Broncos would have had 40 put on them, and it'd just be like all the heads down. This time, the scores were a lot closer. It was just like, there was belief that they could have knocked off Melbourne in Melbourne.
Which does not happen very often.
Well, I think it's very rare for the Storm to have lost to the Broncos. I think twice in the past 24 meetings, Brisbane have won.
I believe so. It's not often.
Which would include that one time in 2016, and the only other time I can think of, the 2006 Grand Final.
Probably.
But
two powerhouse clubs.
Yeah, no, absolute crazy results.
Speaking of crazy results.
Now, we've got the Cronulla Sharks down in the Titans, 18 points to 10.
That's a crazy result. I thought Sharks had absolutely belted the hell out of Gold Coast.
I honestly thought the same thing as well, but no, it didn't go that way.
It could have been 18-14 if they didn't get 18-16 if the death didn't get disallowed.
They brought that back.
Because of a Matt Norman knock-on. It had nothing to do with the Gold Coast scoring.
That was the try of the year robbed for Greg Marju, I think it was.
Bear with me, I think it was.
That was just unbelievable. But I tell you what, Matty Moylan turning back the clock. 1 try, 113 run meters, 4 tackle breaks, and a line break to his name. This is probably the best. That was probably the best I've seen Matt Moylan play for a while.
It certainly has been. He did more control of the game than what Nico Hines did, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and of course you got the wingers trying to outdo the other as well. Katoa on this occasion, Talakai, I having another blast as usual.
Yeah, but he didn't score a try this time. But...
Yeah, no.
No, but this was a scoreline I expect the Sharks to win, but not how close it was. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what about Bo Fermor's run to get that try?
Oh my God.
He showed the dummy and they fell for it.
That was embarrassing. That was genuinely embarrassing. How he didn't get picked to start for Queensland is also beyond me. But hey, I suppose you can't have everyone play.
No. Because of rules. That's what I have rules in place.
Well, that and priorities elsewhere in the squads.
That too. But yeah, that was a very close game. And one of the games of the round at Coffs Harbour there.
Honestly, I actually fell asleep for a big portion of the second half there. I just didn't even see the second half. And honestly, I wouldn't blame you. You really didn't miss much. Just
until like the last minute.
Yeah, final 10 minutes you would have seen something. But other than that, you really didn't miss much, if I'm being honest.
No. Well, you didn't miss much in this game either if you fell asleep during this one.
But this one, if slept, you would have missed something that happened. The Panthers downing the Warriors 40 points to 6 in the Warriors' farewell game at the Moreton Daily Stadium in Redcliffe.
So, obviously, this wouldn't have been the result the Warriors are after. After being camped out of Redcliffe and Central Coast.
The scoreline... They'll be happy to be going home.
To go back home against the West Tigers next week.
They will be. Next week, yeah. Oh, they will be thrilled. Oh, for the first time in a long time, almost 3 years, well, 2 years, 10 months.
Close enough.
Or 2 years, 1 month, actually.
Just say 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. We'll just say 3 years. We don't need to
years.
argue these technicalities.
Yeah.
But, oh no, the Panthers, yeah. The last 2 games they have played, 82 to 12, sorry.
Wow.
Points scored versus points conceded in 2 weeks alone.
Sounds like Melbourne earlier in the year. Or was it Penrith earlier in the year when no, it was Melbourne when they scored 100 and something points to 4 or whatever. Anyway. But yeah. Penrith on point yet again. Cleary only missing 1 kick. Steve Crichton kicked the last one.
Stephen Crichton, how good a game did he play as well? 193 run meters, 2 try assists, a tackle break, 2 offloads, and 1 goal converted.
From the sideline.
Yeah. It's just like, might as well sack Nathan as the head kicker.
Yeah, who said that in the commentary?
I think that was Andrew Voss.
I'd say so, but yeah. No, very good game again. Toto with a double. I mean, what about his acrobatic try? Like, seriously.
He's a freak.
And Isaiah Yo straight through the middle again. He's been on brilliant form at the moment.
They actually tried with debutant Ronnie Volkman for the Warriors. Stacey Jones naming him. That did not go well whatsoever for him.
It's only his first game, and it was against a tough opponent, so it's a bit hard to make a read on how well if he is of a player. Maybe if he plays against the Tigers, which will be a slightly easier opponent than Panthers. But yeah, Panthers absolutely ran away with it.
They're just... It's like you're playing on a different setting against the Panthers. It's just like, well, how are we going to stop this?
You can't. You had to shut down Cleary, Edwards, Luai, Coruscant. Basically, shut down all the key players before you get a sniff. Or just ask Parramatta.
Yeah, Parramatta provided the perfect blueprint. And speaking of the Eels, it is a perfect segue to our next game. The Eels 26, downing the Roosters 16. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. Especially that first half. Wow, wow, wow. There was try.
What
the result at half
What
time.
a first half from the Eels. I gotta say, what a first half from them.
Yeah.
They needed a response, and you know what? We got it.
And the Roosters tried chasing back, but they could do it.
Oh my god. The lead-up work from Micah Sivo's try in the corner. How many sets of hands do we see out there?
Millions? Not only Marcus Sivo's try, what about Reid Marty's try?
I could have sworn there were 20 men out there on the field all at once wearing blue and gold. There were just so many hands involved. They started on the right-hand side of the field, then they shifted all the way back to the left, and it's like the moment it goes to Blake, they got the 2-on-1, I think they bring Suwali in, and Sivo, just a clear run to the try line.
Yeah. There very much happened that.
But Sean Lane, how good was this? 157 run meters, 2 try assists, which also were 2 offloads, and 3 line break assists.
Yeah.
Offloads killed the Roosters. Full stop.
Hell yeah, it did. Can I say, what about Reid Marty's try?
Oh, wow.
What about the lead up to that? Tackle
Moses.
5.
Moses was just like, it's tackle 5, and you're Mitchell Moses. He's just thinking like, should I kick it in behind and try and force this repeat set? He's just like, then he sees some, it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna run this. I'm running this bitch. Just like, out to Simonson, gets it away, or probably Petticini than Simonson, finds Gufferson back through the middle, and then he finds Marnie on his inside to score that try.
That was unbelievable setup work there. Brilliant teamwork there. They were players in support of each other, which Parramatta did like against the Bulldogs.
And I gotta say, Joseph Sawali's first try.
Yes.
How did he manage to stay in with a rampaging Sivo trying to push him out?
I honestly do not know. And that's when he put his kick in. Was that the first try or was that the second try?
The first try.
The second try was just as entertaining. He got the bounce after his own kick. It bounced away.
That was a shank. That was a shank. He didn't plan that.
No, he didn't.
No way he planned that.
But still, it paid off for it. But yeah.
That was probably amongst the best games of the year. I mean, they gave us back in round 10 that Brisbane thriller 31-24. Now Parramatta have done it again in front of 20,000 Para fans at CommBank. And you can basically say, we're still here. We're still in the hunt for the premiership. We might have lost to the two teams that last over the last couple of months, but we're still here.
Speaking of Eels being premiers, I did see somewhere on social media of Clint Gutherson pointing to a fan that had Parramatta Eels 2022 premiers tattoo already.
That could backfire, but if it actually turns out that's the best case of Nostradamus I've ever seen.
There's one, I know it's gone slightly off topic, there was one with in the NBA with the Celtics and the Warriors. Someone had Celtics with the 2022 champions and the Warriors won that one. But yeah, something similar like that. Very brave getting a tattoo this early on in the season. Yes,
Not to mention Mitchell Moses, the opportunistic shoey behind him.
Yes. How bloody Aussie can you get? You're at the footy and you're having a shoey. Like, seriously.
I've no idea. Now, from the western capital of Sydney to the nation's capital, the Canberra Raiders, pulling off an upset miracle, 20 points to 18 over the Newcastle Knights.
I wouldn't say this would have been an upset victory. It would have been an upset victory if Newcastle hung onto the ball and got that victory.
Where were they? It's just like the Raiders were all over them in the first half. Whether you were Nick Cottridge or Adam Elliott going in to score.
Adam Elliott didn't score.
Well, who did score?
Cottridge, Tomoko, Savage, and Hudson Young at the end.
That's right. Adam Elliott with the try assist. That's right.
Yeah.
But the crazy first half where the Raiders at one point were up 14-0, only for Kalen Ponga, $5 million waste, Ace, who should be winning them more games or getting more involved.
All went to the Dolphins.
No, that was the right move from the Dolphins not to sign him.
I don't know.
But he sets Kurt Mann up right on the bell of half time. Then they score the next 2 tries after that. Would have gotten another if it wasn't for a Tuala knock on.
Yeah, that was unfortunate there.
And then,
unfortunate.
Right at the death, the Raiders do what other teams have done to them in the past when they led at halftime and gone on to lose. Hudson Young, Grubbers, and Regathers.
For himself, yeah.
And he won the game. And thus, he's the stand-up player. 1 try, 139 running meters, 9 tackle breaks, and an offload.
I couldn't believe the finish. Like, seriously, Newcastle had it in the bag. They were 14-6 there at the break. And they're in front. But then, like you said, Hudson Young put the grubber through for himself and scored to seal it. And Jamal Fogarty with a very easy kick. One, it was like, wow. Like, seriously. That was a game that could have snapped Newcastle's losing streak. But it continues. And pressure, I believe, will be building on Adam O'Brien.
Well, he can join the club with Justin Holbrook.
Yes.
They're probably amongst the next 2 to go.
I think I said that when I gave you the notes last week. I said Holbrook or O'Brien.
Yeah, they're definitely amongst the next 2 to go. And finally, Sunday afternoon, back at CommBank after that Eels-Roosters thriller, the Canterbury Bulldogs go back-to-back for the first time in 3 years, downing the hapless Tigers 36 points to 12.
Bulldogs, they were pretty much perfect, barring that last sin bin by Paul Vaughan.
And the final try. That first try you can't defend. The Tigers, I will give the Tigers credit for that first try to David Norfoluma.
Yes.
There was probably no way anyone could defend that.
No way.
That was just remarkable. But the Bulldogs...
6 tries, 6 on 6 conversion. The Tigers were in a shout at half time. They were 12-6 down.
Then we ran in 4 tries in the second half to basically say, nope, not happening.
Even a debutant, Curtis Moran, scored.
Oh, but...
Jacob Rillo with a double.
He's my stand-up player at fullback. 2 tries, 106 run meters, 3 tackle breaks on a line break. But this freedom the Bulldogs are enjoying at the moment.
Should they keep Mick Potter as their coach?
Oh, hell yeah. We should be keeping Mick Potter. We've already got our answer. We're playing with all this freedom.
And how many games has he coached? 2, 3?
Yeah.
Has he coached 3 games and won 2, lost 1?
He's got 2-1 on record at the moment. That's a 66% win record in 3 games. I want to see more of this. And I'm believing again. I honestly thought this season was done and dusted the moment we hit rock bottom. But we're climbing up. We knocked off Parramatta. We knocked off the the Roosters. I'm just like, I can dare the dream of actually being in the top 8 right now.
I wouldn't get too carried away, though. There's still a long way to go.
Yeah, I know there is.
I know we're in the top 8. I could be more dreaming than you, but yeah, I'm not going to get too carried away.
But look, defense, for all that good work we did for the majority of the game, allowing James Tara to crash over, and of course it had to be Corey Waddell again.
Well, you did have
surprise, Corey Waddell didn't make a tackle, and the Tigers scored.
You did have a player down, which didn't help your cause either. So,
but even so,
yeah, your favourite player, Corey Waddell.
But no, all good to the Bulldogs. I mean, they're giving their fans something to cheer about. They're giving me something to cheer about now.
Surprisingly, I was as well. Like, you heard it first here. You don't hear me cheer for the Bulldogs often, but that was bloody awesome. 2 brilliant performances back to back for the Dogs.
As for Brett Kamali, this is now his 2nd straight loss, and probably the more embarrassing result as well.
Well, we have to see what happens next week. So I talked about him maybe ditching Luke Brooks to have Julian Hastings in the halves.
But what about Curtis Moran just scoring a try on debut like that? Adokar had spiders all over him. He genuinely did. And then, of course, like you said, Jacob Carraz and Corey Allen, that nice little centre wing pairing that they got going for themselves as well. Just,
yeah.
Like I said, I'm daring to believe. But on that note, and I do apologise for running over time. This is probably more than an hour 5 minutes by now. It is now full time from us. If you like this part or the Betfred Super League debrief we're doing tomorrow, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you never miss a week of rugby league action. Don't forget to give us a follow on our social media channels. On Facebook and on Instagram, it is Sideline Chat, and on Twitter, it is Sideline Chat RL. Hope you enjoyed all the NRL over the course of last weekend and the Origin and Rep Footy coming this weekend. And we'll be back to you tomorrow with the Betfred Super League and the Northern International wrap-up. We'll see you tomorrow.